Let's talk to companies now like Rico India. Now, the reason we are chatting with them today is post their AGM, the management is pretty confident of achieving a 55 to 60% revenue CAGR even beyond FY17. They're aiming for EBITDA margins of about 10 to 12%. And India Post 1370 odd crore rupees order is going to start contributing now for Rico from March. Several other large projects as well are likely and they are pretty much in the pipeline right now. So let's bring on board Manoj Kumar, MD and CEO at Rico India. Mr. Kumar, hi, good morning. Now, firstly, I want to talk about the 1600 crore rupee revenue in FY15. You're expecting it to touch by about 4000 crore rupees in FY17, which makes 2500 to 2600 crore rupees achievable in this fiscal itself. Is that a correct assumption?
Well, as per the calculations, that's what it works out to. So we have been growing at a rate of 55 to 60%, and we don't think that growth has tapered off as yet. I see ourselves growing at that rate for at least some more years to come. So yes, there is no reason why this year as well we shouldn't be able to maintain that rate.
So what is the execution schedule for the current large contracts and the visibility on the upcoming ones, which makes this target doable?
So we are working on several contracts parallelly. So there's a huge pipeline, number one, on which we are working. And also currently we have several contracts which are going to get executed this year. In fact, they are in different stages of execution. Some have already been executed. The others are work in progress. So these are various contracts that we are executing, on the basis of which I think we should be able to repeat the CAGR of 55 to 60% this year also. And this excludes Department of Post because, as we have mentioned before, we are not considering that in our revenues for this year. By the looks of the things, that should start contributing to our top line either by the end of this year or starting the next financial year.
Okay. Now, broadly, to understand that you're confident that you will be able to grow at your historical run rate, which is 50% plus, are you confident of gaining new clients, or existing clients are ready to give you more business?
So there's a two-pronged strategy which we work on. So through the synergy of the three business units that we have been practicing, we manage to acquire new clients. At the same time, we manage to maximize our wallet share from the existing clients. So these are the two-pronged strategy that we work on, which helps us to grow our business, to maximize our business. And we saw a very good traction taking place over there. The results for the first quarter, which are already in the public domain, show that we have grown by about 96% over the last year. And I think all this is happening because of the fact that we are able to not only acquire new clients, but are able to even maximize our wallet share with the existing clients.
Well, what you can see are pictures coming live from the SEBI FMC.
The fact that we are able to not only acquire new clients, but are able to even maximize our wallet share with the existing clients.
Well, what you can see are pictures coming live from the SEBI FMC event. The finance minister will ring the bell and kickstart the commodity market from today. There you go, he's done the honors. Indian commodity markets have opened. SEBI and FMC have been merged. There is one regulator now. Manoj, while you were outlining that, why are you confident of a 55 to 60% growth for FY17 as well, the area you represent essentially has one challenge, which is that on a daily basis, the cost of maintaining data, the cost of hardware also comes down. So how will these dynamics change the aggregate picture?
So we have a very healthy BOM on which we work. So it's a mix of multiple components in which we do our business. So you mentioned about hardware. We have hardware in it, we have software in it, we have services in it, we have solutions in it. So it's a pretty healthy basket. So we managed to do a fair amount of play in between these various components to ensure that for us, our profitability doesn't get compromised.
You launched Picasso, which was a huge opportunity for medical imaging. While incorporating this 55 to 60% growth for FY17, are you also incorporating some new launches where you're confident of getting growth, or the growth number which you've shared is independent of your new launches?
See, new launches also help us to grow, and in fact Picasso is not the only application that we have launched. We have launched about a dozen odd applications across the different verticals in which we operate, and it's a combined effect of our synergy approach, our vertical approach, the unique solutions and the launches which we do, which all put together help us to grow our business. So yes, the applications and the solutions which we have been launching in the different vertical markets definitely will help us to grow.
Right. Besides the government to citizen projects, what are the other noteworthy deals that you've been winning from large private institutions or corporates?
Besides the government to citizen projects, we are very actively working on the mission mode projects. We are also working on the individual projects in the non-government space for technology, for automation. I think it's a mix of different type of deals that we have been working on, which is helping us to grow holistically. So what happens is that you execute a good deal with the government, it becomes a good reference point to you to do similar kind of deals in the other areas as well. So we are present in different states through different state governments. We are doing different kind of mission mode projects which also help us to grow our business.
Very quickly tell me, how much is the government to citizen e-governance projects, how much could they account for as a proportion of your business in the next 2 years' time?
So for us, the mix between government and non-government is about 50-50. Almost 50% of our top line comes from government business and 50% comes from non-government, and out of the 50% which comes from government, these e-governance projects, the G2C projects, the mission mode projects contribute to roughly about 60% or so of the total business which we do in the government space.
Standing up the government business is that it's a low margin business, it's an extremely competitive business. But despite a 50% exposure to the government business, which is on an aggregate basis, you're confident that your EBITDA margins will expand from 8.5% to about 10 to 11%.
So I do not think you can really attribute gross margins to a particular customer segment where you're doing your business. Gross margins are dependent upon the nature of the business which you do, regardless of whether you do it with government or with the private sector. So as an example, hardware is where you earn lower margins, but your margins increase when you do service business, when you do solutions business, and that's the kind of a business gradually we are moving into. So whether it's government or non-government, we are focusing more on the after-sales business, on the services piece, on the solutions piece, which is where the margins are usually higher. And yes, because of that, we are confident of achieving an EBITDA growth of about 10 to 12%.
Closing comments from you. In order to grow, you'll have to spend more, whether it's hardware, whether it's technology, whether it is, fresh talent. What about your CapEx plans?
Oh yes, so we have been investing very heavily. In fact, last year itself we invested somewhere around 150 crore rupees or so. We have plans for investment this year as well, which are currently underway, as well as for the few years to come. So yes, you do need investment, and all put together, I think we have investment plans running into about 300 to 400 crores for the foreseeable future, including this year as well as the next year.
Manoj, really appreciate your time. Good luck. Keep up the good work. Your stock is reacting to the interview. You'll be happy to know that as we speak, the stock is up 7.5%. So clearly markets are watching the interview and they are endorsing your comments now.